Okay, it's very easy for me to cover the successes I've had because I've been unbelievably blessed and been successful in many different businesses in many different ways. And I never thought that at 29 I would buy a company, and at 35 I would be CEO of a publicly traded company, and at 44 we'd sell it for over $500 million in cash and assumption of debt. But along the way I've had a few failures. And as I will tell you, and as many of you all have learned, and virtually all of us read, you learned a lot more from your failures. And one of those failures was in the technology area. We had needed to make an investment in technology. We brought in a woman who was brilliant and who I just think is one of the best technology people in the world still to this day, to come in. And I told her, I said, Kim, we know we have issues. Would you address them? And I have a board meeting in 90 days and I want to make a presentation and I want to solve whatever capital we need. It'll be in November, we'll go into the budget for next year and we'll get this done. And of course she came back a few weeks later with a marvelous proposal, and sure enough, we approved it. I made a commitment to spend $1.7 million, which was probably sixfold any capital investment in IT we'd made in one time in our life, and thought my problems were solved. And she said, Shaun, you did read my presentation. I said, well, of course. She goes, now it said that we wouldn't do a conversion and all this wouldn't be integrated until next November because we have training, we have to make purchases, we have equipment to buy, we have to install it, we have all these things. And I said, yeah. Well, she said, that means you can't acquire any more companies. I got you. Well, sure enough, March comes and there's a chance to make an acquisition, but I remember what Kim had told me, and so I said to my senior management, of which she was a key participant, I said, and just so you know, we're not going to integrate this until March of next year. So we're going to run it for 10 months as a separate company, and then we'll integrate it in March because we have our own conversion in November. Kim was happy, I was happy, and we made the acquisition. Well, May comes and we get a chance to make the mother of all acquisitions. At that time it was the largest one we made. It changed our entire company in a lot of ways, but there was a problem. We had to close Labor Day Friday. And I didn't even think about it, but Kim was due, like literally, Labor Day. And she said, Shaun, she goes, you understand the complexities of this acquisition? They have so much more volume than we have, even though they're only a fifth of our size. And I said, but Kim, this is a game changer. And she goes, we're going to put all of our efforts towards it, but I'm going to tell you, this is going to take an unbelievable amount of effort. Well, we close on the Friday of Labor Day, and I'm happy, and I take my kids to the zoo the next day because St. Louis has the most unbelievable zoo. It's always St. Louis, Washington, D.C., and San Diego are the three best zoos in the country, but we're free. And it's just, if you're ever in St. Louis, you have to see the zoo. And I take them into the gift shop. I very seldom ever let them buy anything, but I don't know why I did, but I did. And I went to pay. My debit card didn't work. Now, I didn't think anything about it, so I paid for it. And by Monday, I knew we had a problem. We had a huge problem. We had a operational meltdown. And by the way, Kim had a child. By Tuesday, they had set up an office in our hospital room brought phone lines in, and those, because you had to do IT different those days. It wasn't, internet is available. You had to go through a phone line. And by the end of the week, we'd figured out we lost $1,547,000. Well, forget that I was livid. I wanted to hold someone accountable. And you all are CEOs, you're entrepreneurs, you're managers, and you hold people accountable. It took me that whole week to figure out. I just kept saying, we have to fire someone. Our company has to see that someone's held accountable. And by Friday, I determined the person to fire was me, that I had to be accountable. So I challenge you, as you go through your work, you make decisions and you do things, yeah, you have to hold your people accountable, but to build the right culture, to get the right result over time, you have to hold yourself accountable. And the admission I made was, I'm the one who made this mistake. I'm the one who made the decision to do this. I'm the one that caused all this chaos and cost all this money. We were so fortunate in the fact that year our earnings were up $2 million over the year before, including $1,547,000 that I cost us. Still know that number till I die. the 1,547,000.